All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. It is that time of the week, folks. My weekly picks in the world of the National Football League. I got things started on the right foot this past Thursday night as I picked the Philadelphia Eagles to go on the road and remain undefeated with a win over the Houston Texans. And that is what the Eagles were able to do as they remain the last undefeated team in this NFL season. But with that said, we have some tremendous action on tap tomorrow, as well as the Monday night affair. And with that said, here are my picks, excuse me, for week number 9 in this NFL season. Now you're going to have tomorrow the 4-3 Los Angeles Chargers making the trek east to take on the 4-4 Atlanta Falcons. The Chargers come into this game favored by 3 points, but they're also fresh off of their bye. And they're also going to have to deal with some injuries at the wide receiver position. That's going to be very important. So, how can Justin Herbert and his crew navigate through that? On the flip side, for the Falcons, the first place Falcons in the NFC South, they have to be flying high after that thrilling home win last week against the Carolina Panthers, but they know they want to keep it going. You look at quarterback Marcus Mariota, he is playing the best ball of his NFL career. And for Arthur Smith and his team, they just keep believing. And more importantly, they just keep finding ways to win. And because of that, I'm going to take the Falcons to win at home tomorrow by the score of 24-23. Now you're going to have the 5-3 Miami Dolphins traveling to take on the 3-5 Chicago Bears. And for Miami, they want to look to flex their muscles and show off their new acquisitions. Most importantly, edge rusher Bradley Chubb, who they picked up from the Denver Broncos. I look at this Dolphins defense, and we saw what the Cowboys defense could do at times last week against Justin Fields and this Bears offense. I think that this Dolphins pass rush is definitely going to try to ratchet it up as well. This Bears secondary is going to have their hands full, like a lot of teams have had so far this season, trying to stop Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. And I think the Bears will come up short tomorrow. And I'm going to take Miami on the road by the score of 33-24. They're going to have the 2-6 Carolina Panthers traveling to take on the 4-4 Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati comes into this contest favored by a touchdown over Carolina. And for the Panthers, wow, how can you find a way to lose a game? That's what the Panthers did last week. But at the end of the day, in the National Football League, you've got to have short term memory. On the flip side, for the Bengals, they're dealing with injuries at the wide receiver position, which means they're going to have to lean on their running game a little bit more in this contest. Carolina has been a very competitive team. They were already a good defensive team. And now, in the last couple of weeks following the firing of Matt Rule, they're playing even tougher. They're going to give Cincinnati all that they can handle, but I'm going to take the Bengals to find a way to win at home by the score of 24-23. Now, in the Motor City, you're going to have the 3-5 Green Bay Packers traveling to take on the 1-6 Detroit Lions. And this is one of those games somebody has to win. The Packers are on a 4-game losing streak while the Lions continue to be the Lions. Green Bay's only 1-3 away from Lambeau Field this year, while the Lions are 1-3 at Ford Field. Now, for the Packers, they've had an issue starting off strong. And for the Lions, they've had an issue finishing strong. At some point, somebody has to find a way to win this game. You're going to find out who is the worse off team. And for my money, the Lions will continue to be the Lions. And because of that, I'm going to take Green Bay on the road by the score of 34-23. Now you're going to have the 3-4-1 Indianapolis Colts traveling to Foxborough to take on the 4-4 New England Patriots. New England comes into this contest favored by 5.5 points. And for my money, just like we've seen so many times over the years, it's going to come down to Patriots head coach Bill Belichick cooking up a game plan to confuse another young quarterback. This time around, Sam Ellinger of the Indianapolis Colts. We've seen it so many times over the years where Belichick, who was one of the best defensive minds ever in NFL history, will go out there and confuse a young quarterback. And Ellinger is going to have his hands full with a tough Patriots pardon me, defense rather, tomorrow afternoon. On the flip side for this Colts defense, can they slow down this Patriots attack? New England, for me, is a team that when they're on point offensively, they're on point. So it's going to be interesting to see which New England offense that we see tomorrow. But I think we have a pretty good idea in regards to which New England defense that we're going to see. And because of that, I'm going to take the Patriots at home by the score of 27-17. Now at MetLife Stadium, the Buffalo Bills are going to look to turn that into Buffalo South when they travel to take on the 5-3 Jets. Buffalo comes into this contest favored by 11.5 points. I have a pretty good idea. You're going to see plenty of blue and red in the stands tomorrow to offset the gangrene. For the Jets, they got a reality check last week as their 4-game winning streak came to an end at home, courtesy of the New England Patriots. Now, what do you have for an encore? You have to deal with a Buffalo Bills team who a lot of people feel have what it takes to win the AFC. The bottom line is this Jets defense, can they slow down Josh Allen and this Bills offense? That is going to be important. I think also Zach Wilson, the young Jets quarterback, is going to have to play the best game of his young NFL career to give the Jets a chance. You want to try to keep your fans into the game and you want to try to give your defense something to build off of. However, the Jets are simply running into a buzzsaw right now. They had New England at home last week. They got Buffalo at home tomorrow. It ain't going to end well. And I'm going to take the Bills by the score of 34-19. Now in Maryland, you're going to have the 6-1 Minnesota Vikings traveling to take on the 4-4 Washington Commanders. And for Washington, this is a team that it's not always been pretty, but this is the way that Ron Rivera's teams play, going back to his time as a head coach of the Carolina Panthers and now with Washington. It's never pretty, but at the end of the day, they find a way to win. And you know that if you're going to face this Washington team, you're going to have to pack a lunch for 60 minutes. This Vikings offense with Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, and Justin Jefferson, can this Washington defense keep them off balance? And of course, Washington fans, they have their way of feeling about Kirk Cousins. Obviously, he got his career started there, but now this is a second part of his career with the Minnesota Vikings. I think that Washington will be game, but Minnesota will find a way to escape with the 31-24 win. You're going to have the 2-5 Las Vegas Raiders traveling to take on the 2-6 Jacksonville Jaguars in a contest of teams that have simply found ways to consistently lose games this year. We saw the Raiders embarrassed last week on the road, courtesy of the New Orleans Saints. And for the Raiders, they have to get back on track. Most importantly, they have to establish the line of scrimmage in order to get running back Josh Jacobs going, which opens up things for their offense. Now you have a battle of two quarterbacks who have times have struggled in regards to turning the ball over, the veteran in Derek Carr, and then, of course, the youngster in Trevor Lawrence. Who is going to take better care of the football tomorrow? I think the silver and black find a way to get it done. I'm going to take the Raiders by the score of 24-22. Now, in the desert tomorrow, you got the first place Seattle Seahawks traveling to take on the 3-5 Arizona Cardinals. Arizona comes into this contest favored by 2 points over their NFC West brethren. And who would have thought at this point of the season that it would be Seattle in first place in this division? But that's the way things are playing out this year. Geno Smith at quarterback for Seattle is playing the best football of his career. You look at the Seattle team, and right now, I can't even say they're believing in themselves. They're just clicking in on all cylinders. And this Seattle defense, will they be able to contain Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray tomorrow afternoon? That's going to be the million-dollar question. Of course, DeAndre Hopkins is back at wide receiver right now for the Birds, and that changes things. I think this is going to be a back and forth, nip and tuck affair. But when it's all said and done, I'm going to take Seattle on the road by the score of 30-27. Now, down in Tampa, you're going to have the 3-5 Bucs hosting the 3-4 Los Angeles Rams. And of course, when the season began, this game was circled by a lot of people because a lot of people expected the Rams and Bucs to once again be in playoff contention. And not only that, they circled this game as the winner would more than likely have home field advantage in the NFC playoffs. That is not the way that things have worked out. The Bucs offense is struggling. They're dealing with injuries on both sides of the ball, and they simply cannot get out of their own way right now. The Rams right now, they can't run the football, and they're getting punched in the mouth at the line of scrimmage. And when it's all said and done, what do you have? You got two struggling teams. So I look at this contest right now as who's gonna be the more desperate team? Is it gonna be LA or is it going to be Tampa Bay? The bottom line is which quarterback can be protected? Can the Rams protect Matt Stafford enough in order for him to get the football down the field? And the same thing can be said in regards to the Bucks. Can they find a way to protect Tom Brady to allow him to get the ball down the field? But the bottom line is the Bucks have to find a way to run the football. The Rams have to find a way to run the football. So it's going to come down to see which team is going to be able to execute their offense a little bit better. I give the edge to the Rams in that matter. And because of that, I'm going to take LA on the road by the score of 24-19. CJ, how are you doing, my good friend? Definitely been checking out the World Series. I'll tell you like this, if it ends tonight, I will have something tomorrow. If not, I'll definitely have something on Monday. But this has been a great series. One thing I will say, just to jump off the subject real quick and hop to baseball real quick, I'll say one of the greatest catches, defensive catches ever in World Series history we saw in Game 5. So let's see if that can be a catapult for the Astros for the rest of the series. We got to wait and see. But tomorrow night, we're going to have the 5-2 Tennessee Titans traveling to Arrowhead to take on the 5-2 Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs come into this contest favored by 12.5 points, and for good reason. You have the Chiefs who are playing some of their best ball right now, and the Titans are out there with a youngster at quarterback in Malik Willis. With that said, I expect this Chiefs defense, which has been playing real well, to stack that box and try to slow down Derrick Henry, which is easier said than done, and try to get the Titans quarterback, whether it's Malik Willis or Ryan Tannehill, to try to beat them with their arm. And of course, Ryan Tannehill is hobbled right now. When it's all said and done, I'm going to take Kansas City to win big at home tomorrow night by the score of 34-17. And finally, on Monday night, you got the one-man band, and I'm talking about Lamar Jackson taking his Baltimore Ravens to the Superdome to take on the 3-5 New Orleans Saints. Lamar Jackson, like I said, he continues to be the one-man wonder for this Ravens team. Baltimore continues to have injuries, but they roll along. New Orleans, on the flip side, they're going to go out there and keep Andy Dalton at quarterback. It's going to be another turnover frenzy. Plus, I want to see what new Ravens linebacker Roquan Smith looks like. Is he going to be playing this week? We got to wait and see. But when it's all said and done, I'm going to take the Birds, the Ravens, on the road on Monday night by the score of 26-20. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. CJ, always appreciate the comments in the box. And as always, if you like what you saw, please feel free to like this podcast as well as subscribing to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out. Drop a line to be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I'm signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.